What's up, my dudes? Welcome back to the channel. Now, this video is specifically designed for high-level PvP players looking to take themselves past their current plateau and on to the next level. I implemented in the previous videos a bunch of methods that you guys could utilize if you were low level, if you were mid level. Now we're talking about high level gameplay. We're talking about things that, and discussing tips and tactics that are going to take you to the next level, get you past your plateau, and help you reach higher than Ascendant rank. If you don't know what that is, I go over that in this video. So if you guys are interested in stuff like that, stick around, my dudes. It's going to be a good one. Alright, here's a friendly review of what your competitive ranking would be and the level that you would be at. If you are between these levels, you're considered to be low level. This would be considered mid-level players, meaning that's where you're currently ranked. This is considered to be high level. Professional level is you are constantly at the top of Ascendant, but if you're looking at this video, it means you're trying to get to that next level, and I can teach you with these methods of what exactly you need to do to move up to that next level. That would make you a professional, PvP player. So here is how I developed all of this. It's off of the OPT model, which means optimum performance training. We use this in personal training and coaching with all of our clientele, and I've developed it in the Destiny 2 PvP arena with the levels of progression in mind. These levels include everything from shooting to map design knowledge, game sense, movement, mental toughness, tilt, communication. All of that is within the model that I've created for the gaming space for FPS shooters. If you haven't seen my previous tips and videos for how to stack all these, here's an idea of what you can expect from those videos, and they all stack within the model that I've created for PvP and Destiny 2. These are the best tips that I can stack progressively so that you can improve as a PvP player moving forward from brand new person to the game to improving up to mid-level. And now we're going to start discussing what it is to become a high-level PvP player. So if you are currently at the higher level, meaning you're around the Adept to Ascendant rank in Destiny 2, but you want to get better, here's exactly what you need to do. First thing you need to know about high-level players is that they all care about winning more than they care about any other stat. So if you care more about winning at any cost, meaning your KD doesn't matter, any of that, then you know that you are in fact in the right position to move yourself forward with the tips I'm about to give you. Tip number 1 is subclass specialization. It is time to niche yourself down into a specialized person. You need to become whatever it is that you need to become, and you need to practice that specific subclass to the 10th degree. Whenever we have someone that ends up plateauing out within a sport, we start looking for ways that they have an optimization of strength so that we can then work on them in a specialization to get them to be a bigger part of the team within their specialized role. That is now your job specifically. Pick 2 subclasses, 2. Whatever they might be, if you're whatever class you play, if you're Hunter, Warlock, Wizard, Hunter, Warlock, and Titan, not Wizard, what I want you to make sure you do is that you have 2 specific subclasses that you know inside and out. Those 2 are going to be what you practice with day in and day out every time you get on in PvP. Those are the only 2 that you play with from this point forward. You need to be very, very aware of the toolkits, what they have to offer, how they work, what mods synergize with them, and how it synergizes with your new battle buddy, which you should have picked up from our last tip session. Tip number 2 is weapon specialization. Now, this may sound a little bit funny to some of you guys, but it's time for you to grow up a little bit and start seriously taking a look at hand cannons and shotguns. Now, there's a reason why the top players always use hand cannon. It's a very high reward and low risk way of playing this video game. It's huge chunk damage, and then you can move back behind cover. You don't have to sit out in the open for long periods of time. But if you're like me, hand cannons have never been your thing for one reason or another. It's time for you to find which weapon best suits you so you can start specializing and practicing with that said weapon specifically. I am very partial to pulse rifles, the dad rifle, whatever you want to call it. The rapid fire frame Horror's Lease that I got from a Nightfall is absolutely amazing, and I have over a couple of thousand kills on that thing. I am a pulse rifle main. I've been able to be very, very successful using that in high-level competitive play against every type of player there is. Now, the couple of things you need to know about weapon specialization, the main one is you need to know what ranges to operate within, and make sure you know what ranges your enemy operates within. So if they have a hand cannon, there's a drop-off range to that a pulse rifle can actually beat. Their job is to get within range, your job is to keep them out of range. That's when you know that you have officially specialized in the weapon that you are using. So, tip number 2, weapon specialization. You should be considering hand cannons at the top of that list. Tip number 3 is recognizing player patterns. Now, the rule here is that if somebody does something in-game twice, it's an established pattern, meaning they have a habit that can be exploited. If you're going to become a better player, you have to acknowledge what those patterns look like, what they are, and get around them as quickly as possible, because that's the type of adaptability that you need to beat other people that are also in the adept and ascendant ranks. The faster you learn what someone's patterns are, the more likely you are to beat them, because patterns are habits, and habits are incredibly hard to break. You've got people that have been playing this game for years. That doesn't mean that they're going to beat you. In some cases, it could be a disadvantage if you're better at recognizing what a pattern is. Now, a couple of examples of what patterns might be. Somebody rushing forward with a shotgun and sliding around a corner. Somebody that goes to the same lane with a sniper rifle. Somebody that takes the same exact route during Rift to try to dunk the thingy. All of those are established patterns. Every direction they choose to go, whatever corners they choose to hide behind, whatever lanes they choose to snipe, look for it to happen twice. If that happens twice, that's a pattern. You know exactly how to counter them. Someone's sniping down whichever lane down in the middle, you understand that you need to flank left, or you need to communicate with your partner that you're going to bait them in the middle while they flank left. Any of those will be effective at beating somebody at this level. Just begin to take notes, mental notes, on what people are doing within the game. Everybody has patterns. No one is completely unpredictable. It doesn't matter who you are. So, that's tip number 3. Recognizing player patterns. This leads me directly into tip number 4, which is predictability and anticipation. When people are stressed, they do very predictable things. And in Destiny, and I'm going to show you this in a clip right here, predictability meaning you understand which way they're going to go before they get there, so you can head them off. You know what the escape routes are. If you engage in a certain angle, like my teammate is doing right there on the right, there's nowhere for him to go but left. I took a shot, I even got a hit, and then he finished him off. Predictable. He's running away from someone else that has a charge melee. He has nowhere else to go. That is player predictability. I knew exactly where he was going to go. So I took my shot. I hit him for 160, but I did not quite take him down. My teammate did. So that is my level of anticipation. You'll see me pre-fire corners because there's nowhere else for that person to go because we backed him into a corner. That is my anticipation of which direction they're coming from, okay? A lot of the times within the Hunter class, you'll see me throw a smoke in one direction, and you'll notice that people get trapped into that. I'm predicting that that's where they're going, and if I trick them once, at the higher level, I don't expect that I can trick them the same way twice. Sometimes it'll actually be me standing at the corner because I've changed up my gameplay because they're expecting it to be a smoke. So, that is another example. That is another tip right there. Player prediction, start to predict which direction they're likely to go, and start to anticipate that by being ready. The faster you can anticipate somebody's reaction to your play, the more likely you are to get first pick, first kill, whatever it is that you're going after at the higher level. Tip number 5 is communication. Now, communication could be the difference between a win or a loss, so it's really important that you start working on effective communication with yourself and your battle buddy. If you are a solo player, you need to be introduced to a concept known as nonverbal communication. That is something that is a little bit more challenging to go over, and I have a video about that if you guys are interested, or I could redo the video so it's a little bit more fun to listen to, I guess. But as a battle buddy, you need to make sure that your communication is not angrily said, it is not tilted, it is very direct, it is very specific, and it is straight to the point. If you do not have those types of communications when you're in the middle of a competitive match, you're wasting time and you're losing the chance to give valuable information so your teammate can make the play that you couldn't, or whatever happened, doesn't matter. So, communication, tip number 5. Keep it short, keep it simple, straight to the point, and make sure that you don't let your head or your ego or your tilt get in the way. Final tip for this video, tip number 6, learn how to self-assess. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this and a couple of different ways that I recommend. The first one is to play against somebody in a private match to give you tips, such as a coach or somebody like that, or just a buddy that you're really good friends with who's better at PvP than you are, so you can get an idea of the mistakes you're making, and they can give you different clues and indications of what you can do to get better. That is a form of assessment. Super good tool. Another way that I found is to use Guardian Theater. Now, this is only if people are using streaming devices, Twitch, anything like that, but it's really cool to see how you play, you know, from their point of view, what you look like and what it feels like to play against yourself, that kind of thing. So if you have the opportunity to look up Guardian Theater, I highly recommend it because it was really eye-opening for me what I looked like to other people, and it's been able to give me some chances to improve as well. The final tip I have for you, Destiny Tracker, a really, really useful site for how many weapons that you enjoy using, how many weapon kills, how many kills you have with certain types of weapons. That's the type of thing that gives you a good indication of what you're favoring so that you can fill in the weaknesses from other weapons that you don't typically use. So I use a lot of fusion rifles and pulse rifles. Typically speaking, I don't use shotguns, I don't use snipes. So what do you think I need to work on? I need to work on those things that I'm not currently using. It's a good indication of what your weaknesses are versus what you prefer, what your strengths are. So that is my final tip right there. Learn how to assess yourself in this video game. It's going to take you to the next level. Alright my dudes, if you follow the tips in this video, I guarantee you'll become a better player. You will become better than just high level. You're on your way to becoming a pro. Now in my next video we'll talk about what the pros do, how they became pro, and what you could do if that is your dream to also get to that level. But just to recap this video, tip number 1 all the way through tip number 6, we got subclass specialization, weapon specialization, player pattern, and recognizing what those patterns are. And then from there, you've got your player prediction as well as anticipation components. After that, you've got simple but effective communication techniques between you and your battle buddy. And then final thing you need is to learn how to self-assess. Or you could always hire a coach such as myself to do that for you. Alright my dudes, I hope you found this useful. Thank you guys so much for your time today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. If you have tips based on the model that I have created or that you think would be effective for what I'm trying to create, please let me know because I'd love to get some of these out there, help more people out. Alright guys, love you. See you in the next one. Take it easy out there.